You know, the benefits of reading the book is that for people that are watching my videos, it really helps to conceptualize the big picture and to also break down into detail the process that I use and the step-by-step questions and concepts or key metaphors that I work with. Those are all presented in the book to make it easier for people to understand their own dreams. So the first point is that it's important to remember that all human beings are equal and that dreams are really the universal language. And the reason why this is important as a concept is because when we're working with dreams, there are some symbols and metaphors that are common to the entire human family. So when we're talking about the four elements, for example, air, fire, water, and earth, every single human being can understand these elements. And when they show up in the dream, it's kind of this universal language that can appeal to and apply to anyone. The other thing is that when I started working with prisoners in Canada, I realized how important it was to put aside judgment, preconceived notions, my own personal biases. And that was when I realized that every single person, when I look at every single person as equal, then I'm just taking the dream by its own merit. And I realized that that is like a foundational piece of when interpreting your own dream or listening to someone else's. So yeah, those are the main points about the first concept of human beings being equal, and that lends itself and contributes to the second principle, which is that all human beings have two natures. So we have a lower nature and a higher nature. And why that's important is because the lower nature is sometimes called the ego or sometimes the shadow self. And the way that I look at it is that it's the lower nature that is the location of and the origin of our so-called negative emotions. So anger, fear, jealousy, shame, hurt, embarrassment, frustration, disappointment, anxiety, confusion. I say so-called negative because when you start to work through the dreams and you start to understand your own negative emotions, you can start to feel as though these negative emotions are teachers or friends. And then you don't feel like it's such a negative experience. The emotions feel negative, but they are not negative in themselves because they bring an important message. And the message and the learning that you gain from processing these negative emotions is that you can get to the positive aspect of the emotion. You can get to the lesson or the learning, and it's a detailed process and it's complex. So this book is really just the basic introduction to the idea, but I'm going to elaborate more eventually in part 2. But basically you're wanting to get to the positive opposite of the emotion. And this is something I talk about frequently. If you have a dream where there's something flooding, there's a flood of water in the environment, that it means you need to flood your environment with positive energy or positive encouragement. So you're taking the negative and you're flipping it to the positive. So human beings are equal. We have a lower nature and we have a higher nature. So the higher nature, that's the source of all things that are positive. That's where we get love, compassion, empathy, caring. That's where our strength comes from, our empowerment, our intuition, our inspiration, our courage, our enthusiasm, our adventurous spirit. All these things, that's our true self or our higher self. And so basically the dream will be showing us either where there's an issue with our lower nature or where we have a strength, something that comes from our true self. And you can use the strength to solve the issue. So that's what the dream is guiding us to do. So the third point of the 4 foundations, the third foundational piece and the third part of the book is about realizing that all dreams are giving us guidance. And the guidance is for growth and change and transformation. And these are the 2 components that the dream is able to unravel, where our lower nature is operating on our life, or where our higher nature is calling us to, and where we can do, where we're something that we're already good at, that we can do more. So that pretty much makes sense if you think of it in those terms. I think that people understand the idea of dreams bringing guidance, but the thing that's important to realize is, like, first of all, you want to look at the metaphor of the dream instead of the literal interpretation. You don't want to be have the goal being like to lucid dream and to control the dream. Basically, if you do become aware that you're dreaming, you have this lucid experience, the best thing to do is surrender to it. You don't want to control it. That's a very different approach. You want to just surrender to the experience, let it unfold, because as you let it unfold, that's where the learning is. The other thing that's different about the way that I do it is, well, that's probably about it for now. And then the last piece is, well, in the book, I go into a lot more detail about how to begin to interpret your dreams metaphorically. I talk about the questions that you can ask yourself, and also how you take a symbol of, for example, like an animal, and translate that into qualities within your own self. So I encourage everyone that is looking for clarity in their dreams to check out my store. It's Gumroad. And check out the book. As I said before, it's called Unlocking the Power of Your Dreams. Check it out. It also comes with 2 guided meditations that will help you, it should help you remember more dreams. And this video also will be, you'll be able to access this video as well. So thank you for watching the video. Remember to like it, to comment, and share it with others. Thank you.